And hello and welcome to Open, the show opening the Bronx and the rest of the world to you. I am Daren, Jaime. Today, we'll update you on what's happening in and around our borough and New York City. Coming up, we'll discuss an alliance that's working to safeguard, enhance, and revive the Bronx River Corridor. After that, we'll talk about how one organization is building a love for dance and diverse audiences for the future. Then, we'll learn about the Museum of the City of New York's 100th anniversary exhibition with the first Latinx curator in the museum's history. And finally, we'll sit with the founder of the fastest growing food and drink festival in the neighborhood. Don't want to miss that. We've got more details a little bit later on in the show. So stay tuned because all this and much more is heading your way because right now, we're officially open. And hello, everyone. I am Daren Jaime, and you're now watching Open, a live program that's bringing the Bronx and New York City straight to you. We also want to welcome our viewers to Manhattan Neighborhood Network, as Open is being broadcast simultaneously on Melendez channels. You can stay connected to us on all of our social media platforms at BronxNet TV. Well, some things have been going on throughout the past week. We'll take you through some of it with our Bronx updates. We are starting with community news. My Sister's Keeper is a transformative initiative investing in the empowerment of young people by providing them with inspiring role models who share their backgrounds as well as experiences. Our BronxNet reporter, Jonathan Calixto, has the story.
Borough President Vanessa L. Gibson welcomed over 100 young girls to Borough Hall for the inaugural My Sister's Keeper initiative in partnership with Bronx school districts.
As the representative of this great borough and as the only borough in the city of New York led by two women, it is our responsibility to make sure we invest in our young girls just as we invest in our young men.
Having witnessed the success of former President Obama's My Brother's Keeper initiative, Janet Vasquez shares why the MSK program is pivotal in the Bronx.
We have a lot of black and brown girls that reside in the Bronx, so this program exposes them to other black and brown adults that look just like them and that they can serve as a role model for them.
For student counselor Amina Mohammed, seeing the reaction of her students from the GEMP program at PSMS 29 is exactly why representation of women in leadership roles is important.
And the first thing that the girl said was like, "Oh, Miss Gibson looks like me. She's a woman and she's a president. I am so honored to be here. I'm so grateful to have this experience." And that's all it's about, giving our girls a chance and experiences.
A lot of women don't really have a lot of these opportunities, so I feel really special to be here today too.
I feel like it's about sisterhood. It's pretty great. It teaches you how to be, just an impactful and empowering young woman from a young age.
The inaugural event brought together girl empowerment nonprofits with the goal of mentoring and strengthening the next generation. Reporting from BronxNet, Jonathan Calixto.
And thank you, Jonathan. In health news, New York City's Health and Hospitals Lincoln Hospital recently organized the LGBTQ Expo, dedicated to promoting health awareness, offering valuable resources, and also disseminating crucial information to the public. Our BronxNet reporter, Brittany Schuyler-Aubin, brings us the details.
In the South Bronx, New York City Health and Hospitals Lincoln hosted their 5th annual LGBT Expo, which provides education, resources, and information to the public.
Part of our effort to work with the community to continue to provide gender LGBTQ care and also to work with the community to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our community, to ensure that all the services and all the support they need that we're providing.
The expo was initially started by Connie Pacheco's friend, Jose Ramon, who passed away from ALS in 2021. Ramon's main mission was to have local organizations come together for the greater good of the LGBT community here in the Bronx.
So he started the expo, and we just want to continue to celebrate the life and legacy of our dear friend Jose Ramon.
As gender-affirming care and other health services provided to the LGBT community have been under fire in some states, the physicians at New York City Health and Hospitals Lincoln believe that it is crucial, now more than ever, to provide accessibility and resources to Bronxites.
And we started our Pride practice, and that practice not only provides primary care for LGBTQ patients, also provides gender-affirming care.
To get involved in next year's expo, follow the link below. For BronxNet, Brittany Schuyler Albane.
And thank you, Brittany. In other news, the Bronx and Manhattan came together celebrating the 175th anniversary of the High Bridge. We head back now to our BronxNet reporter, Jonathan Calixto, to tell us more.
Today, generations of all ages have gathered here on High Bridge to celebrate its 175th year.
So this is a beautiful day to be able to connect children from both sides and really celebrate our history and really connect our children to our ancestors and everything that we've accomplished on both sides of the river.
As a city council member in 2015 when the bridge was reopened, now Bronx Borough President Vanessa L. Gibson shares how the bridge serves as a sign of hope and opportunity.
This is a site and a source of opportunity, of hope, and a beacon of recreation. And really, it's a great celebratory day to recognize High Bridge, the 175th anniversary, but also for future generations.
For NYC Parks Commissioner Sue Donahue, the bridge serves as a reminder of the importance of advocacy, something she hopes younger generations always remember.
This bridge was closed for years, and then in 2015 it was reopened to the community. What I want kids to know is that their voices are important. They have power to advocate for what's important for their communities. This bridge being reopened is a testament to how important that advocacy is.
As the oldest standing bridge, the High Bridge continues to serve as a passageway connecting the Bronx and Manhattan. Reporting from BronxNet, Jonathan Calixto.
And thank you, Jonathan. That is all the time we have for our Bronx updates. We are taking a quick break, but guess what? We have more open when we return.
We all know what it's like to feel alone. But it just takes one new connection. Want to get out of here? To empower many.
This is unbelievable.
It doesn't take a superhero to bring forces together. We all have the power to reach out.
Let's go!
And help someone feel like they belong.
Pretty cool, huh?
We are stronger together.
Feel the beat of nature at a park or forest near you. Find a forest and music inspired by nature at discovertheforest.org.
My character, Shazam, knows all about growing up in a family full of teenage superheroes. They're bold.
Where's everyone going?
To fight crime.
Okay. Adventurous. Shazam! There's never a dull moment. And no matter what happens, they'll always have your back. All they need is a place to grow and be themselves. And the best part is, you don't have to be a superhero to adopt a teen. Learn more about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
And we are back at the end of the 19th century. The Bronx River has been long known and infamous for its reputation as an open sewer. The negative perception has been a result of the industrial history of the area and the neglect that suffered over time. Now, however, in the past 2 decades, significant efforts have been made to restore and do some work to the river and its surrounding environment, thanks to the dedicated work of the Bronx River Alliance and its partners. And joining us now to discuss the past, the present, and the future efforts of the Bronx River Alliance are Ecology Coordinator Christian Murphy and Community Outreach Coordinator Victoria Toro. And glad to have you both sharing with us.
Glad to be here.
Good. Let me talk to you first, Christian. Talk about the Bronx River. I mean, many people drive by, maybe people see, but are not so familiar with the history of it. It's been there for a minute, a long time, and people have seen it sometimes as a waste, and then others like yourselves see it as a valuable resource.
So the Bronx River historically was one of the most pristine water bodies in New York City. It is still New York City's only true freshwater river, and so that's a pretty unique characteristic, and one of the reasons why we're so important in protecting it. But the indigenous folks that lived along the area knew the river as an incredible resource. It fed them, it provided them with shelter and resources. And then when the colonists moved in, the river was an engine to drive the Industrial Revolution. And so it stopped being seen as such a natural resource, and it was a way of powering mills and factories, and it was a waste disposal system. And so we're trying to get the river back to what it used to be, which was that beautiful resource that people were, loving and enjoying.
Yeah. And Victoria, I know you do a good job of getting out in the public and getting people connected to many events to really help to redevelop and fix up the Bronx River. Talk to us about the organization efforts and why you feel it's so important.
Yeah, so we really, at the Bronx River Alliance, see ourselves as serving as a coordinated voice for the river. And our goal is to have the entire Bronx River corridor be a healthy, ecological, recreational, educational, and economic resource for all of the communities through which the river flows. And so that we work in partnership to make sure that this is a true resource for our community, and we do that by having lots of different public programming, hosting a robust calendar of stewardship and volunteer events, and hosting lots of fun events along the river to bring community, build community around the river, and make people fall in love with it to become great advocates for the river.
We talk about the river. What is it that people sometimes don't know about the river that maybe we should know?
Well, there are more than 24 species of fish that call the Bronx River home. You can get Atlantic blue crabs there, crayfish. We saw a comb jellyfish on the river just a few weeks ago.
Wow.
So the river is full of life. It is bustling with life. If anyone had lived along the river in the 70s and 80s, they maybe would never have imagined that creatures could live inside there, but it has a full, healthy ecosystem. And people, maybe don't realize that, and maybe that's why there's so much garbage in there. And so we're trying to change that narrative, that it's actually a living body of water, that there's things that depend on, the water being clean and healthy, and that dumping garbage in there is going to be very harmful.
And Victoria, for yourself, what would you find to be one of the more impactful projects, if you will, that you guys have taken on that has raised awareness and at the same time benefited the river?
I think that one project we've undertaken is the Intermunicipal Watershed Management Plan, which is bringing communities together across the entire watershed, not just in the Bronx, but Westchester as well, bringing stakeholders together with a common vision so that we can, improve the river collectively, all work together, because it's about building community. But then on a kind of Bronx-specific level, I think our recreation program has been an amazing force for connecting people, especially kids, to the river, having people fall in love with it that way.
You talk about kids falling in love with it. What about the public? I mean, when you talk about people out there in the community, you say the Bronx River, okay, I may drive by, I may walk by, I may know by, but talk about the awareness, and are you finding that more and more people are not just aware, but really taking an interest in the efforts?
Yeah, we get lots of emails, phone calls, people just showing up at our office saying, how can I get involved? Maybe they have an interest in nature, or maybe they have an interest in community advocacy, and they just want to plug in somehow and give back to the community. And so we have ways for everybody, all types of interests, like if you're a scientist, if you're a nerd, if you're a kid that likes to turn over rocks and look for little critters, we've got a place for you here. If you're a person who wants to get out and do street art, or like bring your cooking and your recipes to the community, we've got a place for you too. There's a place for everybody to plug in, and I think people are starting to realize that and find out where they can fit in. We make space for everybody.
What's the biggest challenge? Because when you're talking about maintaining, you're talking about awareness, you're talking about repurposing in many ways too, right? Challenges are present. So what's the biggest challenges you're facing in this work?
One of the things I would say is, we need our parks to be fully funded. And, as we expand access and increase access and awareness of these beautiful green spaces around the river, they need to be properly maintained so that they're safe and healthy for our community that we're inviting out, right? So we need our Parks Department to get the funding that it needs desperately. But we also just need community members to be aware of how everyday activities may impact the river in a negative or positive way. For example, CSO outflows that impact the river when it rains, how littering impacts the river, things like that.
Yeah, we just saw some pictures. Talk to me about the free paddling event that's coming up.
Yeah, so we've got a free paddling event. It's open to the community. Sometimes this is the first time that community members are ever getting in a boat. Sometimes it's the first time that community members are seeing the river. We have folks come down who may have lived within a quarter mile of the river and never even knew it existed. And so sometimes this is a very immersive experience, an eye-opening experience, and we do see a lot of shock and awe sometimes when people step down, and they can be a little nervous, but it's a wonderful experience. It's a great way to see the river from a really unique perspective, and it's open to all ages. It's very safe, it's very comfortable, and it's very exciting. And so we're just happy to be providing this kind of opportunity for people to have fun.
And we're going to be hosting our free community paddles like that pretty much almost every week, every Friday through August. And then when school starts back up, we switch into Saturdays so that families of all ages are still able to access the river.
Yeah, you talked about school, but now's the time we see a lot of summer camps out there, a lot of kids on the go. So you're finding the Bronx River being flooded with a lot more young people out.
Yeah, well, what's amazing is that places like the Bronx River Corridor, they actually keep the environment a little cooler. All the trees, the vegetation, and so people flock to the river to cool off in the summer. It's a great place to beat the summer heat. And so we see a lot of activities show up, and we try to get kids to participate with us. And so we have internships, we have kids that come by and do water quality testing. They'll learn about the birds, they'll learn about the flowers, and we're just we're happy to be a part of the neighborhood in that way.
Usually, during COVID, we talked a lot about people being impacted. There's a lot of things that people are impacted. I'll talk specifically to your organization. How much were you impacted in terms of pollution, right? Because we talk about pollution of the Bronx River, so many people out and about. Did you find an increase in pollution during COVID? Just shake your heads like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it unfortunately coincided with, again, maintenance budgets went down at the same time that park usership was way up, because this was the only place where people felt safe socializing was outside where you could socially distance. And so we weren't only seeing just more trash, but different kinds of trash, PPE, disposable masks, things like that, things that we had never seen in the river or near the river before. Now all of a sudden we're seeing in huge volumes. And so it really increased the necessity to get that messaging out to folks to make sure that we are all collectively responsible for this space, and we should all take ownership of it. Right. And with that ownership, it's stewardship comes along with it too.
Yeah. Have you got a great response from elected officials when it comes to really dealing with? Are they silent? Or do you feel like?
Our local Bronx officials are actually really involved with us. I've been out on the river with them, hands full of oysters, with an elected official next to me, handful of oysters. These are men who usually have very crisp suits on, and they're not afraid to get down and dirty with us. And so we really value their support. We value the awareness that they bring to the Bronx community. They also uplift us and our platform. So we're very thankful for them, and we're always looking forward to new ways to partner.
Yeah. And talk about partnership. Talk about how the public can actually partner. You say they're always coming through, sending emails, visiting, but somebody's watching right now and saying, listen, how do I get involved?
Become a volunteer. Like I said, on bronxriver.org, we have a whole calendar of not only community events, but volunteer events that people can plug into. But also we have these amazing community advocacy teams. So Christian co-chairs an ecology team, we have a greenway team and a foodway team that all intersect with different aspects of our work, that if folks, something speaks to you about whether you care a lot about food justice or ecological monitoring or accessibility to the river and its greenways, you can join. They're free for the community to join, and we really welcome all community voices. We want as many diverse voices as possible to help guide our work. We see these teams as the grassroots guide posts for how we continue going forward.
Well, Christian, Victoria, great to have you. Continue the great work. Continue making people aware, and we'll see you out there.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
All righty, good to have you. All right, well, I want you to know if you want more information, don't hesitate to visit the website, bronxriver.org, and then stay up to date on their Instagram at Bronx_River. We encourage you don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more Open coming up right after this.
Most hiring algorithms would scream me out.
Some bosses couldn't see me as a leader.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
I've been running code as long as I've been able to reach a keyboard.
This is what I do. It's second nature for me, coordinating 100 details at once.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
I sold them on my skills.
You gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
My magic is
analytics and empathy. That's how I'm getting clients. You have to have the confidence in yourself to show up and defy the odds.
I'm more
than who I am on paper.
I never got a college degree. And today, I'm the CEO of my own company. People want to tell me I'm one in a million, when actually I'm one of millions. Stars are all around us. It's time for them to shine.
I don't know why you're so sad. You've got a roof over your head.
Bro, you gotta stop with that depression stuff. That's a white people thing.
Escúchame, en esta casa los hombres no lloran.
You all right?
It just feels like it's coming from everywhere.
Do you want to talk about it?
Thanks for hearing me out, bro. Appreciate it.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad. Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
And we are back. New York Theater Ballet's mission is to present affordable hour-long ballets for young children, along with small classic masterpieces, as well as contemporary works for adults. Now, our next guest started as a student at NYTB at the age of 7, climbed the ranks to become a principal dancer, now serves as the artistic director. Join me now is the artistic director of New York Theater Ballet. We've got Steve Melendez, and thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a long time with the organizations we were sharing in between, but for you, this organization is a passion.
Yeah.
And talk to us about why it's become a passion for you.
Yeah, it is a passion. I started at New York Theater Ballet when I was 7 years old. And at that time, I was living in the Bronx. I was a young Puerto Rican boy, and it just wasn't a thing in my life to be part of a ballet program. I was living in a homeless shelter at that time, and it was only through the grace of I don't know what, and Diana, who was the director then, coming into the shelter and introducing me to ballet, introducing all of the children there to ballet. And it totally changed the course of my life. I joined the school after that on scholarship. I did summer programs for ballet camps, and I joined the company at a young age. And I'm passionate about New York Theater Ballet because it's shown me how dance can have a really outsized impact in the lives of young people.
Yeah, I got a niece who's heavily engaged in dance and ballet, and I think she's done all she's dancing now out in Vegas.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I notice is when you get the young impression, what that passion is like and how long it sticks with them, and they carry it on to almost, it becomes careerish, if you will. It becomes a career. For you, the same thing. What was it about ballet? It came at an integral part of your life?
Yeah, it came at a really important moment for me. You know, every child, I think, grows up eventually to learn discipline and self-respect, and they sort of earn their own self-respect. You know,
Right.
it's something you gotta work on. And for me, it came at a time when that was really necessary. You know, it's a hard thing to grow up in a shelter in the circumstances that I was in, and having the opportunity to step out on stage and have people applaud the work, the effort that I had done, walking even just into a ballet studio and being viewed as equal with all the other kids, that's really special. And I think those qualities, those attributes, those things that a life spent in a dance studio instill in a young person are attributes that that child can take into anything else they do in their life. You know, whether you're a line cook at McDonald's or a heart surgeon, you have to do your work the best you can do it. And in dance, well, if you're going to fall over, you're going to break an ankle, you're going to hurt the person next to you. You know, you got to be on top of your game all the time.
Yeah. So now you're an artistic director, having the opportunity to really frame, you know, something for some people. Talk to us about the work that you're doing as an artistic director and some of the programs that you have.
Yeah. My driving mission is to make sure that dance is accessible for everybody. I think that dance has a bad rap, especially ballet, has a bad rap as sort of this elite thing, you know. And I think that we can combat that by ensuring that the stories that we put on the stage and the voices that we promote, the choreographers, the dancers, the artists that are involved, are of and about the culture that we're in now. And I think if we do that, then we can diversify the audiences, which will in turn diversify the next generation of dancers. And that's really important to me.
Yeah. For your organization, I know there's also a community service program, not just doing it on the inside, but also taking it on the outside as well. Talk to us about the community service that you do.
Well, so this is the LIFT program, right? This is the program that I came from when I was a young kid. That program is still going 30 years later. Diana still goes into the homeless shelters, and she still asks for young kids to come and take ballet classes. And in my role now, I'm looking to expand that program. But I'm looking to expand it in a little bit of a unique way. I think that for a long time we've been working with young kids. We've been taking them from the shelters or from public schools or from places to change the next generation of dancers. But I think that those young kids need to go home to a household, to a culture, to a community where the new part of the world that they're introduced to is recognized and appreciated. And so the way that I'm expanding that program is by offering dance appreciation, dance education programs for what I call new to dance adult audiences. So if you're an adult person who's never seen dance before, you should come to New York Theater Ballet and see a program, because our programs are cultivated for you.
Yeah. So your journey has been an amazing one, right? Your work as an artistic director, and then you've got NYTB out there. You guys actually had a documentary done about your journey, about the work. You made it to the Tribeca Film Festival. I mean, talk to us about first of all, the documentary. Were you surprised that it made it all the way to Tribeca?
I wasn't surprised. The story is incredible. I mean, first of all, the documentary is incredible. It's filmed over 11 years, and it really highlights the work that New York Theater Ballet has done through the LIFT program. It highlights my journey, my story, and it is a fantastic film. And the reception we've gotten since the Tribeca premiere has been really strong. In fact, next weekend, on Saturday, is the, I think, final opportunity to see the film in New York City at the Nova Frontier Film Festival in Brooklyn at the Billie Holiday Theater. And it's free. I encourage everyone to come, because then they'll understand really what it means to do outreach work.
Yeah. So under your leadership, as we are looking forward, what are you looking to see happen? I know part of what you got to do is there's also the raising of funds to make sure that, I mean, that's, what you got, listen, when you have not-for-profits, you got to raise that money. And so I know that's got to be a part of what you got going on too.
That is right. Actually, we're lucky right now. We have a really generous donor who has offered a match, a $50,000 match. So if we raise $50,000 before the end of this month, we will receive another $50,000 from this donor. So that means that we can raise $100,000 this month. And I'm calling on everybody to pitch in. Everybody needs to pitch in, because the work we're doing is really important.
That's amazing. So you got a $50,000 match. Optimistic about that. On the average, though, talk to us about running that program throughout the course of the year.
Yeah,
it's pretty expensive.
Yeah, it's really expensive. Our budget is just around $1 million, and that means every year we need to raise just about $1 million. And in New York City, you'd think, there's so many wealthy people, so many big corporations that somebody just write a check, they find that in their couch cushion. But the reality is that arts are underfunded in America, certainly in New York even, and every month, every day, every year, we're fighting for raising the money that we need to keep our doors open.
Yeah, I ask this oftentimes when I sit in the seat, when I see people from the arts community, because I talk about, when you look at education, one of the first things that get cut in the budget items are sports and arts. However, we know that this makes a huge impact in the lives of people. What's it like seeing that this is on the front lines of education cuts? It becomes like one of the most expendable things, but not recognizing how many young lives are actually impacted by this.
That's exactly right. I think it's unfortunate that usually the people that are cutting the arts budgets are people who don't have any experience with the arts, and they don't understand what they're cutting. Dance especially is a language, just like English or Spanish or French or German or Italian. It's a language, and it's a unique language because it's a language that everybody understands, but only some people are trained to speak. You see somebody walking down the street at you, you don't have to have dance training to know whether they had a good day or a bad day, whether they're a rich person or a poor person. You just understand that innately. And when we have arts education programs in schools and after-school programs that have arts education programs for young people, we are training our young people to be expressive and to understand the community and the culture within which they live. And that can only possibly create a better, healthier society.
Yeah. What's the best way for people who want to find out about this and get connected to it? What would you recommend?
Yeah, contact me. Why not? Send me an email. I don't care. smelendez@nytb.org. Send me an email. Call me up. Our number's on our website. There are so many ways to get involved. We're looking for board members. We're looking for young professional committee members. These are young people that want to get involved, volunteerism. We're looking for mentors for our students. We do all kinds of things, and there are lots and lots of ways of getting involved. And if you don't want to do any of that and you just want to see a great show, buy a ticket.
Yeah.
That's great too.
So let's get it out. Next show's coming up?
Next show's coming up early October, maybe 12th, 13th in New York City. Yeah. We're going to be on a residency in Maine. We're doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah. How long does it take to put a show together?
5-6 months.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And then you're
it's a lot.
And then here comes the second piece. We got to get the people there, right?
We got to get the people there. And most people aren't there because they've never seen it before, and so they're scared.
Right.
Don't be scared. Just do it, bite the bullet.
Don't be scared. Just show up. I got it. I understand, Steve.
Yeah.
Good to have you. Thank you so much. All right, listen. Now, if you want more information, visit the website, nytb.org. Follow them on Instagram at New York Theater Ballet. And, yeah, he says $50,000. He needs a $50,000 match to get the other $50,000. You know the drill. All right, well, don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up after this.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Can you see anything different as a pill?
No.
You don't know?
Fentanyl is being mixed into everything now. There's only one thing that will save somebody's life. That is naloxone nasal spray.
Fentanyl, it's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
Why would drug dealers put a lethal dose of fentanyl in drugs if they know it's so harmful?
Really just all about the money.
I just didn't realize that one pill could change your whole life.
More kids should know.
Even though we didn't grow up together, he's my favorite brother.
Hey, sis.
I'm the baby of the family, and he's the gentle giant.
What you know about Port Georgia?
Man, please, that's a classic.
You know when they say people are a rare breed? Yeah, he's that.
I'm sorry, I'll be back in a few hours.
Don't worry, Shug, you know I'm for you.
I know.
Go get the football.
That was my favorite memory. He was always for you. This is a true story of me, Bridget Floyd, and this guy, George Perry Floyd Jr., my big brother.
And we are back. The Museum of the City of New York turned 100 years old this year. And in honor of the centennial anniversary of its founding, the museum has opened an exhibition titled This is New York, 100 Years of City and Art and Pop Culture. It explores the many ways the city has inspired storytelling across art forms. And here now to share more about the exhibition is the curator of Community Histories, Dr. Monxo López. And good to have you.
Yeah, hola. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
Buenos días. Good morning.
Talk to me about this. 100 years, and it's a very important milestone, but a milestone that so many people are not familiar with.
Oh yes, the museum is 100, so we're a very old institution by now, and we wanted to see how the city had changed and remained the same during those 100 years that we have been open. A lot of things have changed. Like, for example, when we opened in 1923, NYCHA, public housing project, didn't exist. The A train hadn't opened, so you could not take the A train to Sugar Hill because it hadn't opened. But many other things, like we didn't have skyscrapers that we have today. But many other things have remained the same. Like the subway was annoyingly crowded at all times. The city was noisy, the city was dirty. New Yorkers were always like rushing to get somewhere. So what we did was that we put together a show that explored how the city had changed and how the city had continued being the same through the eyes of arts and pop culture. Yeah. So it's about movies, paintings, music, poetry, etc.
So when we see pop culture in a way that really demonstrates past, present, and future.
Yes. Yes, the art allows us to really explore like the deepest meanings of the city and the deepest identities that the city have. The idea is to allow that creativity, those creative minds, those creative geniuses to really help us understand the city and see the city from other perspectives. And so I think you're right. It is not only about the past. It's not only about the 100 years that are behind us. It's about the upcoming 100 years. And I think that art is a very, very solid place to launch us towards the future. It's a really happy place to be.
When I think about history, I think about the fact that many people, particularly young people, sometimes have a hard time gauging in. You got to engage them. But what's being done, if you will, so you got to engage it because you got 100 years of history here and the story that needs to be told, but a story I think people need to know about. And as historians, sometimes we know that that's a hard thing to really get the various demographics, if you will, across under the roof. How do you do that?
Well, there are two questions there. The first one, the other day, I was listening, celebrating the life of an African American historian that was a borough historian of Manhattan. He was a great friend of the museum, and his daughter was telling that when he was growing up, he was utterly uninterested in history. And then he met his mentor who told him, "You are not interested in history because you're not interested in yourself." And so I think that's the answer to the first question. Like, the idea is to get people interested in themselves, to get kids interested in themselves, because when you're interested in yourself, you want to know about what's happening around you, what your community has achieved, what have been the struggles of your community, what things you need to celebrate about yourself and about your ancestors. And so the way that we're doing that in the museum is really to raise up the volume about the diversity of our city. Like, we're trying to really be accurate. It's not just to make ourselves visible. It's to give an accurate rendering of what the history of the city has been so far. And it's a history that has been marred by many sins, including enslavement, but that has also included the contributions of all of our communities. Black people, my people from Puerto Rico, people from all over Latin America, Asian people, Chinese people, all over, Africans. Like, we have contributed to build this city. And so the best way to get all of those younger generations to be interested about themselves is to see themselves in the stories that we tell in places like the museum.
So when we look at this particular centennial celebration, what stands out to you? What's the most? What would you tell me? I got to come by and see.
There are a few.
A few? Okay, take me through.
There are a few things. I for once, am very partial that we got a notebook, a lyric notebook from Jimi Hendrix. So when you go in there, you're gonna see his handwriting, and he's writing about how hard life was in Harlem when he was living there for a few years. Then we have a magnificent sculpture by John Einhorn and Rigoberto Torres. They do busts of people, particularly people here in the Bronx, and so it's called Double Dutch. It's 4 girls that are like playing double dutch in a beautiful sculpture, like life size. We have the tutu that was worn by Sarah Jessica Parker as part of her Carrie Bradshaw character in Sex and the City. We have the original tapestry of Tarbish by Faith Ringgold. We have hand-drawn storyboards done by Martin Scorsese himself for the movie Taxi Driver. And so we have a beautiful, beautiful music interactive. It's a map of the city. You get to step on each one of the bottles, and when you step on the bottle, music from that bottle comes into play. And so it's a really, really fun game. And finally, we have a very, 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 very beautiful film experience, immersive experience, that stitches together over 400 movies that are based in New York in a 22-minute long extravaganza. It has, tragedy, violence, romantic love, fun. It includes everything about the 5 bottles as it has been portrayed, as they have been portrayed in film. So those are some of the highlights that we have.
So for yourself, obviously this is an opportunity to take a look at the history and have a celebration of it. When you had this experience, what was your takeaway?
My takeaway is that so many things have changed. Like, if we were able to travel back in time, like, we will not recognize the city. At the same time, the other takeaway that I have is how much hasn't changed, how much people have had, to struggle to make themselves visible in the city, and also how when people thought that there were no ways of moving forward, that there were no possibilities, the city always made up space. People always made up space for themselves. And I think that that's a very uplifting message as we look towards the future. Like, our communities, sometimes we feel stuck professionally, personally, as communities here in the city. The biggest lesson for me is that we're not alone in feeling that way, that there have been people from back in the day that felt the same way, but we're here because they persisted.
Yeah. We're talking about the centennial anniversary and celebrating 100 years of city and art and pop culture. The exhibition is out there, and we'll let you know when it's going to end, but we want to let you know there's so much more that's actually taking place as well. It's not just this. It's a whole lot more.
Oh, no.
We need a whole show, but
yeah. We, in Puerto Rico, we say in Spanish, estamos tirando la casa por la ventana. We're throwing the whole house out the window. And so we have right now, also as part of the triennial centennial celebration, we have a photography triennial. It's called This Is Now. So that's going to be running up until August, early August. Then we have People, Place, and Influence, which is an exhibition based on our own collection, the museum's collection. And so it's an exhibition that is going to celebrate like our own internal dynamics and our own internal collecting strategy. Like, the exhibition that we have right now is us looking outwardly. The exhibition that is opening in October, is us looking inwardly at our own very, very interesting history. And then in December, early December, we have a show about the Puerto Rican mosaic artist and illustrator, painter, Manny Vega. There are a lot of mosaics by Manny all over El Barrio, East Harlem. And so we're going to be celebrating him, and we're going to be celebrating El Barrio in December.
Yeah. A little earlier, we saw one of these pictures that said Temple of the City. Explain to us, for somebody who's out there watching, what is that, Temple of the City?
Yes, Temple of the City is the title of a very, very famous photo by a photographer, Berenice Abbott, from the 1920s. But we decided to call one of the sections of the exhibition like so, because we believe that the experience of New York City is not only about the diversity of the city, so we're all very different, and the density of the city, we're all very packed together all the time, annoyingly so at times, but the tempo is about the speed about which things happen in the city, which is part of what makes the city unique. It's not only that we are dense, that we're diverse, it's that we are all rushing towards something, and we needed that something yesterday. And so it's about that tempo, about the speed that it's always around us.
We know right now we're at light speed right here. I'll tell you right now. Dr. Monxo López, thank you so much for being with us. Congratulations, 100 years.
Yes.
I know you'll be out there doing the work. So.
And people should visit NYC. MCNY.org.
Okay.
Museum of City of New York.org. MCNY.org.
Give me 30 seconds. I'll tell them again.
Yes.
All right. So this is New York, 100 City Years of City and Art and Pop Culture. That exhibition opened until July 21st, 2024. It's located 1220 5th Avenue in Manhattan from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Thursdays and 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Fridays through Mondays. Now, if you want more information, yes, go visit the website at mcny.org. Follow them on their social media platforms at Museum of City NY. Don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.
Thank you so much.
Fostering a pet for a friend or neighbor can keep families together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Dear moms and dads, what you have achieved here today is going to help us and our futures. It is why we are coming up on stage to collect your diplomas.
You know it's true.
Mom, we love you always.
Everything I do.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how's sketches, ready? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, backpack kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on. To the left. To the right. Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
And welcome back. The Bronx Night Market has served over 150,000 Bronx residents. Now, the borough's most famous cuisine and cultural festival has grown. And when I say grown exponentially. But where does this story begin? Where is it right now? Well, we got sitting down with me, the founder of the Bronx Night Market, Shalma, and we're here. And I said, you know, we're gonna call you the Shack of night markets. That's what we're gonna say right there.
I'll take it.
Listen, it's been a great time for you because really, as we were talking, it's mid-season, but yet and still, there's still a lot more happening.
Yeah, like you said, it's mid-season. Our season starts in April and ends in November. So, and we have at least one event every week, you know. And it's a lot of work, you know. It's a lot of good food, though. You know,
Right.
It makes it worth it. So we're happy about that.
So you have the Bronx Night Market. Talk to us about, first of all, for somebody who may not have been, doesn't know about it, explain the night market, how the night market works.
So the night market basically is we say that it's like a food and culture festival, right? So basically what we're trying to do is like work on the 3 C's, community, cuisine, and culture. Basically like bring a lot of different diverse food from global food, many cuisines, and then have the aspect of local musician, local artists, local performers to kind of bring the cultural aspect of said neighborhood. You know, we started this in the Bronx in 2017. It blew up. It became such a success, And we took the same model that we worked on for almost 4 years, and then we took it and translated it to Harlem, to Brooklyn, now in Central Park with a vegan, and soon a Latin night market in Dykeman.
Yeah.
So the same model that we started and perfected in the Bronx, taking it across the city, people love it. It feels great, and we enjoyed it.
Well, we love the Bronx, and that's home for us,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
But talk to me about Harlem, because Harlem has got some, you're doing record numbers out there.
We are doing record numbers. Harlem is, to date, the biggest one that we have, with over 20,000 people come every second Thursday of the month. But also, it became very quickly in its third year the largest food and culture festival in New York City, overtaking, other festivals that's been around for a little bit longer than that, just because of the vibe, just because of the community, just because of the culture.
Yeah. So how does that feel for you? Because you had this out here before, brought it to the Bronx. Now you're able to bring it to all boroughs. And now it's like you've done something and the whole city is caught fire with it.
Yeah, it feels good. I'm not gonna lie. It feels good to start off in the Bronx as a side hustle. Just something that we did as a hobby to do like once a month in an event.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's my main business, my main attraction, and it resonates so well with people. Like just coming to a place that you work so hard to produce and having like anything between 5,000 and 20,000 people coming and smiling and enjoying themselves and saying thank you to you and really kind of pushing to help the whole community kind of know about it. It's rewarding. It's amazing. It's what we do this for.
So how do you go about getting the vendors? Because I know New York it's beautiful in terms of, and we're vast. How do you go about getting vendors for each of these different markets?
It's a great question. So when we started in the Bronx in 2017, nobody knew us. So we had to hustle. We had to call people, beg them, come give us a chance, do whatever. We started very humbly, like 35 vendors. Now, when people recognize us and they know that we have a good brand going on, we've worked professionally throughout the years. Now, most vendors come to us. Most vendors come and apply through our application process, And we open our application process already in November for the following year. And I'm going to tell you something like this. From chasing people to fill up 35 vendors, now we have to have a 20 or 30 vendors deep wait list. And we're trying to add more events specifically, like the vegan night market, like the Latin night market, to create more opportunities to those who we cannot fit to the existing brands.
Yeah. So for yourself, talk to me about what it's like on a day-to-day, because you said now this is grown into your day-to-day business. You got to deal with all these boroughs. Then you talk about what's coming up. What's it like for you? Overwhelming?
It could be overwhelming, but I have a team. We have a team right now of like about 10 people that helps me carry the load of that. We, like I said, we started off like being me and another person, and now we have an admin person, finance person, marketing person, social media managers, operation administrators. So we really grew as a team to be able to continue growing, continue doing what we're doing to the best level, because for us the idea is to really kind of keep upgrading the way that we do things and make sure that we elevate the experiences consistently, which that's what causes us to be successful. That's what people expect from us. So we have to do that. But my day is like 5 a.m. to like 9 p.m. 7 days a week. That's why mid-season I disappear for 3-4 days just to kind of relax on the beach.
So here you are. You've got the Bronx. The Bronx is located at Fordham Plaza, and people go out to Fordham Plaza and have this wonderful experience. Why did you choose Fordham Plaza?
The decision to choose Fordham Plaza came because of its central location and the accessibility to different transportation. You got the Metro North, you got the bus stops over there, you got the main trains that come into the Bronx. Everybody recognized that. We find great partners with the local council members and the local bid that wanted to kind of upgrade the shopping, Fordham as a shopping center and a shopping hub in the Bronx. It just made sense, And it's a great plaza. We work with DOT over there, and we're really kind of trying to improve it. We recently won the RFP for Fordham Plaza, which means in the next year we'll increase our event and our lineup and be able to activate the plaza Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, multiple brands with different partnerships. So, we're growing because people really resonate with what we do and how we do it.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what do you think is they say in the business world, what's the secret sauce? What's the secret sauce for this night market?
It's as simple as this. We care. We care about what we do. We care about the experience that we give. We listen to the customers. And you know, in this business, everybody's your customers. The vendors are your customers. The customers are your customers. The sponsors are your customers. The city officials are your customers. You have to navigate and you have to care enough to make sure that you are giving everybody what they need and everybody is experiencing that. And predominantly that the community feels that this is made for us. You know, and once you do that, I think that's the secret sauce, you know?
Yeah. So for yourself, obviously, it's got to be a great feeling knowing that you've been able to transcend into so many different places and spaces. For people out there who are watching and say, listen, you know what? I want to still get connected. I heard the wait list is long, but still I want to get connected. What do they do if they're a vendor? Yeah,
reach out to us through our website, masshospitalitygroup.com, or any of the other brands, the Bronx Night Market, Uptown Night Market, Vegan Night Market, Latin Night Market, all of those.com. You reach out to us, we process you in the information. At the very least, we get to know you and we have you in mind for any opportunity that happens. You know, there's always room. I tell people, get on the wait list because you don't understand. Things change throughout the season. You know, spaces open up. We increase the amount of the vendors. Or, like we said, we're opening new brands under the same umbrella of the companies, and then there's space for you to come in. So, as a business owner, I recommend put your name out there. Make sure that we see you, communicate with us. We got you.
In your work, what's been the most memorable experience that you've had?
Oh man, there's been so many. In my world, every year there's memorable experiences. You know, I think for me this year, the opening day of the Bronx Night Market when we opened in April, and always opening days kind of have a different element. You know, everybody coming off like winter, nothing happened too much between November and April, and then the crowd just come over there. And that's the first time you see New Yorker wearing colors like I'm wearing. Nobody's wearing the black and the coats anymore, and it just feels beautiful. That makes me so happy. Gives you energy for the rest of the season.
I know you got that bright look on you, like you've been somewhere.
Yeah, you know, I'm wearing my Florida outfit right now, so I'm kind of like, you know, bright colors. I feel good today.
You feel good? You feel good today? You ready for the week?
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
Let's real quickly. Let's go try to get let the people know where we are in the city. Bronx, when and where?
Bronx Night Market, Fordham Plaza, every last Saturday of the month.
Okay, take me through the rest of the borough.
Uptown Night Market in 12th Avenue and 133rd Street. It's every second Thursday of the month. Brooklyn Night Market in Industry City every last Monday of the month. Vegan Night Market every Tuesday in Central Park by Woolman Rink. And Latin Night Markets coming up September 15. We're launching it in Dykeman. More information to come. Check out the website. We are actually getting new vendors for that. We are getting sponsorship, all of that. So, you know, business is open and business is good.
What day are you going to take off?
Take off?
So you got Sunday,
you know, we don't need to take off. We have November till April. You know, that's our time off. You know, and I've been blessed. This business allows me to take a little bit time off between November and, like, let's say February, and then we get back on the cycle of that. So it's intense during the season, but then you got good downtime. So all I got to do is make it to November. That's it.
You know, in my business, people say, "Good question." That's a good answer, though. I want you to know, good answer. Marco, Shalma, thank you, buddy.
Appreciate you.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see
having
you.
me.
All right, listen, now, if you want to join the festivities at the night market, again, there are 4 dates for the remaining for this season. They are July 29th, August 26th, September 30th, October 28th. Get out there. The market is happening from 1 to 7 p.m. at 1 Fordham Plaza. For more information, visit the website, bronxnightmarket.com, and follow them on Instagram at Bronx Night Market. Well, we come to the end of our show today. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us and you, the viewer, for tuning in. Now, if you missed any part of today's show, you can catch a recablecast on Optimum's Channel 67, Verizon Files, that's Channel 2133, or watch us anytime on the web at bronxnet.org. Of course, if you want a brand new episode of Open, come on back Friday. My girl, Rena Valentine, gives you the best with arts and entertainment. That about wraps it up for us. I am Daren Jaime, telling you, make sure you keep this channel wide open. Say, take care.